Welcome to Always Authors, the literary podcast that presents two authors in candid conversation. On this episode, we're excited to bring you Juliet Grames and Lynda Cohen Loigman. Juliet is the best-selling author of The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna, and her latest novel, The Lost Boy of Santa Chionia, was released in July. Lynda is the award-winning author of 7 novels, including The Matchmaker's Gift. Her novel, The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern, will be released on October 8th. Join us for this fun conversation with two charming ladies as they talk about writing, research, and the possibility that they were separated at birth. From finding corpses in Italy to finding love later in life, you'll go on a journey through exotic lands and families alike and learn a bit about writing and publishing to boot. We promise there will be lots of discussion about rum cake. Inspiration starts now.
Hi, Juliet.
Lynda.
For people listening, we're so excited to get to talk for an hour because I have met Juliet in person once. I love her writing so much. She is from Hartford, Connecticut. I am from Springfield, Massachusetts, which is very close for those people.
They're sister towns. Everyone says Hartford, Springfield.
Yeah, everyone that I knew, their parents worked in Hartford. They worked in Springfield or Hartford growing up. So I feel a very strong affinity. I have always I feel like you are my lost sister, even though I've only met you in person once.
Your lost wartime sister, except the wartime is the battlefront of fiction writing and publicity.
Yes, but not a lost boy in your town.
I don't know. I would say that Always Authors has a gift for matchmaking by putting us together. I'm running out of title jokes.
Yeah.
I want to actually talk to you about tour, Lynda, because when I first met you, it was on my tour for my debut novel in 2019, and you were kindly sitting in the audience. And then I'm glad you came up and introduced yourself because that's how I discovered your work.
I love that. Well, say the name of that book. Tell people, just say.
Yes. So I was out with the 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna, which was my debut novel. And you, I think just a couple months before was when the Wartime Sisters had published, right? I think that was 2019.
Right? Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
Okay. Oh, it was before COVID. It was before COVID.
And so here it is 5 years later. I am just coming off of a grueling and amazing tour for my second book, and which is The Lost Boy of Santa Chionia, and you're about to hit the slopes in a couple weeks for your new novel. How are you feeling about that? The 5 years, I will say the 5-year gap, those two tours for me were so different. Are you and your publicity team, are you making the same decisions that you did last time? Or what are you going to,
the problem, well, first of all, you had a baby in that time. I think when I met you, did you have your...
Yeah, he was little though, so
he was a baby.
Yeah, he was a baby. He was 8 months old when Stella came out. We just packed him up in the car carrier, and he'd sit in the back of the library, and he'd go ooh like this. And now it's very hard to smash him into a car seat. Yeah. So his feet are this big, so they don't fit anymore. Yeah. So it's definitely been, childcare has been a juggling component for sure of the second time around. But
so for me, when I had my first book in 2016, and that was The Two-Family House. And so my daughter was a senior in high school, and my son was a freshman in high school. And now, of course, they're out in the world. So my daughter is in law school. She's engaged. My son is going to be a senior in college. I have more time for touring, the writing time. I have more time for writing too. Not that always helps, because life and little things that are in your brain can sometimes get in the way. But the touring, it's definitely easier. But I think the thing about the publishing world is it's always changing. Even from, I've never had a book a year, but it's been 2 years since my last book. And it's different again, it just changes so much. And different bookstores crop up, which is amazing. Sometimes beloved bookstores leave. There are libraries that start doing different programming. They're the last time for my last book, which was 2022, that was the first time I went. Like, I went to Georgia, which was so fun. I went to Foxdale Bookstore in Georgia, which is fantastic. And I'll go back there again this time. So I'm doing some of the same things. But I'm trying, like, every time there's a book, I try to go somewhere that I haven't been. So I'm going to go to Parnassus Books this time.
Ooh, I've never been.
Yeah, I'm just super, super excited. There is a bookseller there who's been so lovely to me and to my books, and she invited me to come, and I'm just like beside myself because for people who are listening, that's Ann Patchett's bookstore, and I'm just like I don't even know what to do with myself. It's like going to a Taylor Swift concert.
Well, okay, I'm so curious. So this is your fourth rodeo, and it's only my second, and I have some observations about this, but I want to hear your wisdom on so much time and energy spent on this publicity effort,
Yeah.
right? And it's really a gift in a lot of ways because I worked silently on this novel for 5 years. I love this novel so much. So the opportunity to talk about it at length it's really a gift. Like that hasn't gotten old. Um, but I do feel like in the 5 years between my debut and now, my relationship to why I'm writing and what I take from writing has shifted a little bit. And I wonder for you, four novels in, what is your continuum? Is writing like, is it a joyful process? Is it an addictive process? Is it a work process? Like, how has that shifted between your debut and now?
That's a really interesting thing to talk about. I mean, and I want to hear about you too. I think when I wrote my first book, I never thought anyone would read it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an editor also, so like you have been in this business for a long time, longer than me. Um, I was a lawyer, for a long time. Then I was a legal recruiter. I was different things, but I always had this one story that I
Yeah.
wanted to tell, and
Yeah.
the one story that I had for 25 years because my daughter's 25 and I thought of it when she was 6 months old. And so that was like this thing that just stuck in my brain. And it was not, I always wanted to write. I was always afraid to write. I never ever wrote anything, nothing except for really bad poetry. And I took a class and I wrote that book over like a 5 year period and like, but I never really thought anybody would read it. So to me, the whole idea that I'm writing books that anyone is reading is just a tremendous gift. Like there's that thrill of just like the first time you see your book, you see what they call the first pass of the book, right? Where it's like in typeset pages. Like I think I almost died. Like I almost literally fainted when I got that email, and it was like my words looked like pages of the
Oh,
book, right?
that's
I just
lovely. Oh, I
felt
love that.
it's like those are those moments, right? And then, like so many things, and I'm sure you can talk about this too, the business gets in your head, right?
Mm.
So if you are at all an ambitious person, which I think I am, there's the whole creative thing, and there's all the gratitude, which I have tremendous gratitude for getting my book published at all and being on a shelf. But then you kind of are like, the ambition kicks in. The ambition for me kicked in after book two, really, for my third book, where I was like, I really want a lot of people to read it. Like I want people to read it. I that's that feeling where like you want to just know that that more than 10 people are out there reading your words. And that's something that for my third book, I think it got into my head a little too much. And for my fourth book now, going out on tour soon, I'm able to really let that go again. Like
That's
I had
interesting.
this moment where I was like, oh, I want to like, I mean, we all want to make the New York Times bestseller list if we could, right? Like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. I was thinking before that third book came out, I was paying too much attention to all the outside things. And that was not a good headspace to be in.
Yeah.
And it was ultimately disappointing, right?
Yeah.
And it stopped me for I would say for like 6 months or so. It stopped me from really enjoying that process, that whole all of it. It stopped me, and now I've been back to feeling really like I'm just happy for whoever reads it, and I'm
Yeah.
just because you can't control you can't control it, right? Like it's definitely a creative world, a creative environment, a creative business is something that you have very little control over.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like relinquishing all control this time, and I'm really excited this time because I feel like I'm in such a better headspace, and I feel just really happy to be. I love talking about books. I love talking about your books, my books, anybody's books. I love meeting readers. It's so much fun. Going
it
on tour,
is.
like let's face it, going on tour is not like the thing that sells so many books. It's not. It's to go and connect with the readers. That's really what it's about.
Mhm.
Like connecting with readers and just like I don't know, just building lifelong readers, just meeting people and seeing people who love books so much. There's just something that's so amazing about it. So I'm excited. I know it'll get tiring. It gets tiring because the traveling part gets tiring, but it's really beautiful.
It does. And like dollars to donuts, you're looking at it. How much money, is my publisher spending on this tour and how many book sales are generated out of it? But I don't, um, I think, what you said, connecting with the reader, the value of that has these implications that are so much, you know, bigger than the individual reader. And that's really neat and interesting is when you meet the person who then was, the sister-in-law of someone you met, in another town at another time, and you're watching how things, take effect. And it is interesting. You're like, I want to be able to talk about my book.
Yeah.
I did
Well,
all that
it
work to talk about
fuels
it.
you. It fuels you. It fuels you from like we all have this creative like well, right? And sometimes it gets lower and it goes dry. And when I'm talking to people about books, it just fills that so much. Just it's fuel for
Yeah.
just that whole part of your brain, I feel like. And it is meaningful. Like here's the thing, like I'm so excited to talk to you and I love your book so much because I feel like you write there's family stuff in all your books, like in Stella Fortuna, like there's this sense of like there's just a sense of family of I can't even describe it. It's just your books just feel it feels so comforting to me and comfortable, even though it's uncomfortable. Like, so, it's not like it's like all happy stuff. It's like all the torment of family relations or community relations or whatever. But there's just something that feels very familiar to me in your writing. And I love that. And I feel like those are the things for me meeting readers on the road when they talk to me about their families and they say, oh, this character is exactly like my uncle
Yeah.
Mort, exactly. And I'm sure that people do that to you, like
Totally.
especially,
And that's the best validation because you're a more efficient writer than I am, despite the fact that you're writing these very rich historical novels. I don't really know how you do it, but for me, it's been a book every 5 years, and I think having those conversations is validation that the 5 years were not misspent. That the value of the interaction and having someone feel like it touches them personally, you're like, oh no, it's okay. The time I spent on this is okay.
yeah.
I did have that thought. You really triggered when you said about I consider myself ambitious too. It's always been sort of my defining characteristic of myself. I remember when I was 14, I did a study abroad program in Japan.
Oh, what? When you were
And
14?
when I was 14, it was called Youth for Understanding. It was a Japan America Friendship Scholarship. And when we got there, I had only very basic Japanese because I'd only taken like my, one year of high school level Japanese. Like I couldn't even say any verbs. And we had this orientation program where they taught you the importance in Japanese culture of jikoshokai, which is self-introduction. So, and which is true. Like when you meet someone, you have this chance to present, you tell who you are, where you're from, and then you should get one really cogent fact in there that will help them, orient how your relationship is gonna go from there. And they were training us on how to do jikoshokai, and of the like menu of options for their defining characteristic, like how do you want to tell people you are? I picked ambitious. I was like, oh,
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It's so funny. So when I was 14, I knew that about myself. And when you said that, it reminded me of so do you know the author Julia Phillips? She wrote Disappearing Earth. It was like a National Book Award
I
finalist.
know the title of that book, but I haven't read it. Yeah.
So she and I were on the same debut circuit in 2019, and now it's funny. Her second book has just come out, Bear, and
Oh yeah,
so
I've seen that too.
just like a
I have
couple
to
weeks
read your books.
before mine did. She's a lovely human being, and she so I saw her do. I went to her launch event in Boston, and in that time she became a mother. So I had a baby when the book came out, but not when I was writing my first book, right? And so the interlocutor, Rachel Lyon, who's another excellent writer, had asked her, how did motherhood change your relationship with writing? And Julia said this thing that really stuck with me. She's like, I identified as an ambitious writer, and my first book was, I'm putting words in her mouth now, which isn't fair, but it affected me really profoundly. She said, my first book was a product of my ambition, but then I became a mother, and I realized that my second book, like to write for those reasons wasn't enough. Your time is so precious, and you have so many things that you have to worry about, um, outside of just your career pursuit. And she's like, and so my second book I wrote out of joy.
Yeah, but that's
Like
beautiful.
the joy
I
of writing.
that's beautiful. I feel like I've written all of my books out of joy. I have, but it was with the third book when the ambition thing kicked in a way that impacted me, not in a good way.
Do you
Um,
want to talk about that, or is it off the table?
yeah, no, well, no, we can talk about it. No, it was so that book. It was called The Matchmaker's Gift,
I
and
loved that book. I thought it was,
I loved writing it. But so the inspiration came from during COVID, and I was working on a different book, a much more serious book, because The Matchmaker's Gift is lighter and it's a very joyful book. And it's, it has like a little bit of magical realism in it, which I'm really into. And so that book, I wrote it during COVID. It was my daughter's roommate who came to stay with us during COVID, stayed with us for 6 months, who like sort of gave me the idea for it because her grandmother had been a matchmaker. Yeah, we were watching like Indian matchmaking on Netflix, and then she turned to me and said, my grandmother was an Orthodox Jewish matchmaker back
oh
in
my,
the 60s.
wow.
Yeah. So the book is not about her or her grandmother at all, but
Right.
I had never thought about writing about a matchmaker at all. And of course, then I was like, well, how would I do that from a historical point of view? It's like I'm not going to write a romance. Like there's a lot of romances with matchmakers, but it's going to be historical. So I was working on my book. I had a contract for a book. And I talked to my agent and I said, I'm going to finish this book. And then my next book, I think I'm going to write about a matchmaker. And then she called me like the next day and she was like, I can't stop thinking about that book. Like, cause it was deep, deep COVID. So we were all really isolated.
Yeah.
And a book about a matchmaker, like matchmakers make connections. Like it's lighthearted. Like she felt like this was the time for a book like that. Right. Instead of a serious book. So she went to my editor and told my editor about it. And my editor loved the idea. And then they were like, put aside the book you're working on now and do the matchmaker book first. And so they gave me a 2-book contract and they said, write the matchmaker book first. And so
it's like great enthusiasm. And then suddenly all this pressure for this thing you've just nascently.
It was fine. That didn't bother me. The only thing was like, okay, well, I have to like do all this research and I hope there's really interesting things about matchmakers. Like, and there was like, it's set in like the early 1900s. It's dual timeline, but it's like early 1900s. And then it's like 1990 or 1984. I can't even remember the later timeline, but I just, because that was sort of different for me, writing a lighter book, writing a book that was, had this magical element. I loved writing it so much. It was the quickest I ever wrote a book. But then when the marketing, it's like, it was after the writing that I started to get too excited. I started to think maybe like this was going to be my big breakout thing. Like I got too excited and
wow.
Like, and that I just think when you are a creative person, we all get excited. It's good to get excited, but I don't want to get too excited because you can't control it, right?
No,
like
you can't.
So
you can't control anything.
No. And
you can't control like
no, nothing. But in certain ways, that book exceeded my expectations because I do have some younger readers because of that book now, which is really exciting. But I don't know. See, and I think, and that book has it's having a long shelf life, as I think your books do, because the things we're writing about are not trendy things. We're writing about just the human condition,
Yeah.
And
I
so I think
feel
those books have a long life.
I do. I feel very lucky there that it's been. I work in publishing, so I know that it's been 5 years since Stella Fortuna came out, and it's still on bookshelf. It's still getting read. I still get reader response. People write to my website, and I feel very lucky because my publisher helped me find a place that with that book. It wasn't a flash in the pan. It wasn't a moment. I don't know that you can count on that more than once in your life. I mean, you can't count on it at all, I think, as a writer to have a fortune like that. So I try to keep that in my back pocket and be like, whatever I do now, it's okay. If people get what I do, that's great. If it brings them joy, that's great. It's important that it brings me joy and it satisfies me creatively because, like, as a reader, I know what I'm looking for. I don't always find it. I want to write the book for readers like me. I want I want them to have somewhere to go. So it's my job to write that book, and I hope, it's my publisher's job to find the readers who are looking for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be zen about that, right?
But it's
And
good. You
I've
have
been
to be zen. You
so
have to be zen.
fortunate. I mean, this is the thing about this this process since The Lost Boy of Santa Kionia came out in July. It's been so old fashioned. It has been this, like, treading the floorboards tour kind of scenario, and it has worked. I've had these conversations and I feel really lucky. I'm just like, what's so in terms of the expectations, though, what you said about when you hope, you hope for the best. And there's like, I feel like all authors, I've worked with authors now for 20 years as an editor, and basically the world gives you a reason, a whole palette of reasons to be disappointed with what happens to your book, because no matter what happens, the best, like if you debut at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, there's still something you didn't get that someone else got, that one of your colleagues got. And then there's things that you didn't get for no reason. You're like, oh, this book should have been in X, Y, and Z, but it was missed. But, like, the tastemakers have limited bandwidth, and your publicity team allocated the budget in a different place. All these things. So you're always going to be disappointed by the scenario, no matter what. It's is the thing that I found with being an author, and I don't know how to. It's really hard to fight that, right? It's like internally, as a self-talk a little bit right now, it's hard to fight that. But I will tell you what we do internally when we're launching a book. We pick, this is like something we do at Soho. When the editor's first pitching the book to the team, they get to pick one get. So it's like, of course, you want everything for this book, but what is the one get that you need for this book?
Right.
And then, so whatever it is, you're like, well, this book is a really good candidate for fill in the blank award.
Right.
That's going to be our priority. Okay. Everything else, we're still going to pursue publicity and marketing in these conventional venues, but we really want it to come to the attention of this committee. Or, this is obvious New York Times bestseller material. We need this to be a debut on the New York Times bestseller list, or whatever it is. So it's funny because then I don't know if the authors would love to know that we do that we pick what their one goal is.
It's really, but I think that's good information. And I think I have like my writer tribe, my writer friends who I love so much. And these are the conversations that we have, because I think that sort of stuff is not talked about enough. It's a very opaque business.
Yeah.
Right? It's an incredibly opaque business. And I think that it's very, I think that writers are dealt with in a very kind of like, as if they're sort of children who we don't want to disappoint. We don't want to tell the whole truth to, because we don't want to upset them. We don't
deal with their feelings.
Right. We don't want to upset them. We don't want to, because as we know from just watching the industry for so many years and watching that whole big trial, and that played out last year, like, nobody really knows. So yes, we know that, I mean, I know because I've learned it over the years. Like my friends and I, we talk about the books that get the gold package. Like there's a book that gets the gold package, there's a book that gets the silver package, a book that gets the bronze package, depending on what the advance was, depending on different factors. So we kind of know this. A lot of writers know this. Not all writers know this, and then they find out, and then they're kind of like sad. Like, well, Indie Next is sort of like a corporate decision, right? Like what you're saying, like we're picking which book we're going to really push for that. But it is also the case that sometimes these things happen organically in ways that no one could predict, right? So you could be, as an editor, pushing a book for a certain thing, and then all of a sudden, or not pushing it for something.
Yeah.
Let's take that scenario. You're not pushing it for something.
When the bronze package pops, that is the most exciting thing.
Yep. It's like the bronze package, and then boom, out of nowhere, something wonderful happens. And then, of course, the other thing, this is coming from me, who is not in the business, to you, who is, so it's silly, so forgive me, but like, it's a very reactive business, right? Yeah. The book has the bronze package, something excellent happens that no one was predicting, and then you push it more. Then maybe you inch it up to the bronze plus package or the silver package. Like, right, you're going to put money into marketing because you're like, oh, well, this amazing thing happened. So, so I think, the whole business thing is interesting. It's
how they say,
fascinating.
They say that we're descended from apes. We are not descended from apes. We are apes. We are a great ape. We are a great ape, and our great ape culture is like, ooh, that's working. Ooh, let's do that.
Yeah.
That's in a nutshell.
And so honestly, I think that's where, for some, like, I always have hope. Like I always just have hope that, like, who knows? Like something amazing could happen. Like, I mean, amazing things could happen. Like we just don't know. Like there could be some celebrity who picks up your book and then tweets about it or puts an Instagram picture, and then you don't like. And so I think as a creative person with a big imagination, because like all I do is daydream all day long. Like I'm just imagining things all day long. Like I just tell myself stories about like the potentially amazing things that could happen. So but I think with this fourth book, I'm just in a good space, and I do want to write out of joy, and I don't want to be disappointed. And I'm just like, if I can keep writing books, then I'm happy.
Okay, I have not actually gotten my hands on an early reader copy yet, so.
And I have it with The Lost Boy of and I know you sent it to me too. So I'm going to be reading it and I'm not home. So when I get home, I think it just got delivered. And hopefully,
tell me. So perfect. Tell me about the book.
All right, you tell me. I'll tell you about my book, and then you talk about your book, so everybody can hear about the books.
Okay.
So my fourth book comes out October 8th. It's called The Love Elixir of Augustus Stern, and basically, the title character Augustus Stern was inspired by my husband's great grandmother, who graduated from Fordham Pharmacy School in 1921. She was this amazing woman. Yeah, she was one of the early female pharmacists. She was married to a pharmacist. He died very young, and she sent herself to pharmacy school having she was a young mother with one small child, and she wanted to keep it pure. So she went and she learned, and she became a pharmacist. The best family stories about her are how she had this store for a long time. She eventually, after decades, sold it and became a hospital pharmacist because she didn't want the responsibility of running the store anymore. She was a hospital pharmacist. And all the family stories are how she used to doctor her certificate with like the date to make her seem she lied about her age. She did this like over and over again. She would work at a hospital for a decade, then she would go work at a different hospital, and this is what she did. So my character in my book does this, gets caught, and is forced to retire to she goes to Florida to retire to Boca Raton. So it's two timelines. It's 1920s Brooklyn when Augusta is living. She lives above the pharmacy that her father runs. She wants to be a pharmacist, and she is a young woman. And then she falls, whatever. I'm not going to get 2 minutes into it, but she's caught between her father's way of doing things and the way that she has a great aunt who comes to stay with them, who's from the old country and has a very different way of healing and curing, and a mortar and pestle that may or may not have magical properties. And she, it's like when the customers come into the store and something is not working for them, the pills that the pharmacist is prescribing are not working, she gives them like a little wink and a nod, and she's like, come upstairs with me. And so Augusta's caught between. Yeah, Augusta's caught between. So it's about that, and it's like a sort of, it's also Augusta when she's about to turn 80, and
How old does everyone think she is?
was lying about her job. They thought she was 70. So they thought
Okay.
she turned 70.
Gave herself 10 years. I like it.
She gave herself 10 years. Yeah. Yeah. So that's fun. And it's a lot of it, like the voices of the whole later time period. I moved my dad into assisted living in 2021. And so when I was there, I would sit with him in the lobby, and my mom died very young, and my dad dated for 15 years, and he had a lot of different girlfriends, but literally up until the day he died, he was just looking for love. Like, and so sitting with him, talking to all the ladies and men in the lobby, like I really felt like, you know what? No matter how old we are, no one loses that desire for love. No one loses that desire for companionship. And that's very much a theme in the book. So that's a big part of the story.
Well, I can't wait.
It's fun. It's fun. Tell me now. Wait, now you tell me, because yours is a mystery. This is like,
Yeah, it is. Well, okay, it's a historical novel. It's set in 1960 in Calabria, Italy, so the very toe of the boot, which is where my grandmother was born in 1920. And so the story is, there's a 27-year-old American woman named Francesca Lawfield, and she's from Philly. She's like a finishing school grad. She went to Barnard, and she's very sort of intellectual elite and a do-gooder. She's working for charity in Italy. She's also half Italian. Her mom was an immigrant from Calabria, so she's like gonna go back to the place where her mother was and try to help in this war recovery effort, which in 1960 is still in full throttle.
Right.
So she ends up in this village in the Aspromonte Mountains, which are very remote, and this almost mystical place. Some of these villages are so unconnected. They have no roads that lead to other villages. There are still pockets that speak Byzantine Greek there, this language called Greco. It's like very remote, needs a lot of love and investment to be brought up to modern times, because things like there, besides no roads, no electricity, no water, which are all standard in Italy in 1960. The war was really hard on Italy. But besides that, there's a lot of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
The villagers are very much dependent on one another because they've never been able to count on anyone else. And so it may or may not also have an endemic mafia organization that has been the ruling class of this village in this world for perhaps 100 years or whatever. This is all in 1960. This is all subtext, because now we know about the 'Ndrangheta, we know about the kidnapping of John Paul Getty III that happened in the early 70s. So it's all of that kind of public knowledge of organized crime and its effect in these communities wasn't as widely known when Francesca arrives there in 1960. So she shows up with this mandate to open a nursery school that's going to help underprivileged children and reduce child mortality and whatever. And she finds that, she's definitely an outsider in this village, and that there's lots of secrets, and that there's a very rich cultural heritage from this sort of, isolated pocket of the world. Things are done very differently, and that they're fascinating and they're beautiful, these cultural traditions, but she's always a little bit outside of them. So then right at the beginning of the novel, there's a catastrophic flood that knocks down the village post office, and the villagers are pretty used to this because it happens every October. There's a giant flood. In this case, it reveals a human corpse under a skeleton under the post office.
Such a great way to open a book.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is that there's no police force in the mountains, and there's no, like, really, the villagers are completely unperturbed, A,
Right.
by the flood, and B, by the human corpse. And she's like, that's a head scratcher. But she minds her own business for 1 week. And then an older lady, because in my life, older ladies are the catalyst of everything important that happens.
Yep. Not in my books. I love
It's one of those things we have in common.
all the time. Yeah. all the time. We clearly had, we could have a whole other like 7-hour conversation about our grandmothers and great aunts and aunts. I bet we would have a great time, but keep
I
going.
think actually we've been talking about them the whole time here, whether we mention them or not. But yeah, I mean, that's like the big force in my life of the way I see the world is always through the eyes of old women who have been so important to me. But yeah, so in this case, this old woman approaches her and is like, hi, my son sailed away to America 40 years ago. He immigrated and he never wrote home. Could you help me figure out if he really has a visa, an immigration visa in the town hall? And Francesca's like, she's not asking me if he has a visa in the town hall. She's asking me if he's the dead body under the post office.
Right.
And this is how she's drawn, probably against wisdom, into what becomes an investigation into the identity of this corpse that no one in the village seems to care about or be looking into, and also, you know, into the lives of the villagers and what secrets or violence or trauma they're hiding and why. So that's my story.
I love that so much. See, I love your books because I just love an old-fashioned story. Like,
Me too.
Books that I read that are just like not stories. I don't know. I know that doesn't make sense, but they're not. There's something that's like, I don't know. I just love that. I love like I just like it to be simple. I like the setup to be simple, and then everything else can be complex, and there are layers, but I like just like a simple story. I don't know. There's this book. Oh, I'm not going to remember the name of it. I think David Benioff wrote it. And it's basically, and I can't remember the name now. Darn it. Anyway, it's like, basically this story is, it takes place during the war, and like somebody gets
City of Thieves.
City of Thieves.
Leningrad, yeah.
The whole book is like, I'll let you out. You can be free if you find me a couple dozen eggs to make my daughter's wedding.
Yeah, the cake, yeah.
And that's that is the greatest setup for a story of all time. And yours is like also the greatest setup. Like, you know, there's a flood, like, and then the dead body is found, and then what is it? Who is it? Like, I just love it when you can boil it down.
Well, not one of my skills, Lynda, so I'm very flattered that that's your opinion.
No, yeah, I love it. It's, I don't know. There's something, I just, like when you have something, it just feels really satisfying to me, that setup. There's something about that that's just so satisfying.
Oh, I thought it was
love
perfect.
It.
I wanted to write a mystery because I've been a crime fiction editor now for 15 years. And I was like, I want to write a mystery, and I want to write an homage to this genre that's so rich. It's a great space for talking about social issues. It's a great place for talking about, you know, powerful characters and how trauma or adventure or, you know, ambition affects an individual character. I think it's a great place to create human connection points. I think that's why people read crime fiction, for entertainment.
Yeah.
But it's also just a really great place to, if you're up for it, to have a super tricky, puzzling plot. And I wanted to do that. I was like, so I'm not going to do like who done it. We're not figuring out who the murderer is and looking at a range of 3 suspects, because we don't know who was murdered, or if they were in fact murdered. Right. So instead, it's like a 3-prong investigation into 3 different possibilities. I'm like, I'm going to make this as puzzling as possible. So oh, I had a great time writing it. It was really fun. It was super fun.
I love it so much when I'm really like in the thick of a book. Like right now I'm not, and I'm a little sad because I don't know if this happens to you, but like when I'm really in the middle of, when I'm really in it, it's like the best feeling when it's like consuming your thoughts all day long, even though it makes me not a very present friend or wife or mother or whatever. But like when you're really just like thinking about it all the time, and things just pop into your head, and you're in the shower, and like I'll like come out of the shower like yelling like to my husband, like, I just thought, you know, like this like you solve something, some little thing that's, you know, you bothering you. That's the best place. And that is when I love going to sleep at night, because when I go to sleep at night, if you have it all in your head and you can just like literally fall asleep thinking about your book and being in your book, that's
like, soon I'm gonna wake up and I get to write it again.
Yep. Yeah.
I exactly relate to that. I've been in research mode now for 2 years. I think I told you I actually read The Matchmaker's Gift when I was in Italy in the Alps on a research trip. So because, you know, the way the publishing process takes time. I finished The Lost Boy of Santa Quinoa, writing it years ago. I wrote it in 2020. I edited it in 2021. I sold it in 2022. So I was working with my editor in summer of 2022, and then it was time for me to move on and work on the next thing. So I'm 2 years into this research process on the next book. I'm dying to sit down and write it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to publicize one book and be working in the space of another. So got to take a little break there. But
Yeah. It's funny. People, I'm sure you get this question too. Like people always say like, how long is your research process? And how do you know when it's time to finally write? And it's just like, there's not really a real answer. I mean,
no,
some people will say when I keep turning up the same things and I feel that there's nothing new that I'm finding out, but like your research is also very place specific. It's different. You're soaking up the atmosphere of the place
yeah,
you're writing about. And I think for me, it's like I say I feel like this. I feel like maybe you feel this way too, but I don't know. But it's like, you know how like if you go on sort of like a junk food bender and you're just like eating all the treats, like maybe you have a birthday cake for somebody and it's in your refrigerator, and so for like days you eat birthday cake for breakfast and lunch and like, you know, and then like you get to a day where you're like,
no more cake.
as delicious as it is, I can't eat any more cake. Like I actually have to eat like a salad today. And you want a salad, or you want like, I actually really love salad, but you want like just something really, really, I don't know, different. And I feel like it's that way with research. Like there's a point, like research is a little bit, I love it, but it's also a little bit of, it's procrastination a little bit, right? Like where
Amazing.
you, right? And then it's like one day you're like, I just have to write. Like I just have to eat my salad and write and not have my procrastinating cake.
That is why you have a book every 2 years and I have a book every 5 years, because I could eat birthday cake for breakfast indefinitely. I'm really bad at that. I can't. I'm always like, but what if in this 500
No, but
page,
also Juliet, you're so hard on yourself. You also are an editor, and you
I'm
also have a young
indulgent.
child. You have a full-time job and a young child. I don't have those things. Like so that, and don't ever, you know, you're
But I love birthday cake, Lynda. I
I
love it. I love it. And I'm like a person, if there's not some external pressure, to eat the salad, we'll continue eating the birthday cake indefinitely.
Do you know that for my whole life, every year for my birthday, I got a rum cake from an Italian bakery in Springfield called La Fiorentina, and that was my birthday cake every year that I lived in Western Massachusetts. And so I am actually, so I'm on Martha's Vineyard right now, and there would we had a guy do some work for us here, and he is from Longmeadow, which is where I'm actually, like, where I grew up, in the town of Longmeadow, which is next to Springfield. And I told him about my birthday cake because he's Italian, Joe, and he brought me a rum cake from La Fiorentina like last year. He just brought it. He just like schlepped it from Longmeadow to Martha's Vineyard, and he brought it for me, and I want to tell you that I ate like every single piece. It's an enormous cake, and it's very dense, and it's got a lot of rum in it, and it's really good cold in the morning for breakfast. And
Oh, I too, every year, but mine is from Modern Pastry in Hartford.
Okay,
So that's
what
like
kind of cake?
rum.
Oh,
Of course. Come
we're
on.
like,
You
we
get
really
chocolate,
are. We
you
were
get chocolate and vanilla custard.
we were separated at birth.
I know, we were. So actually, wait, when is your birthday?
October 7th, the day before my book comes out. Which
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's
Well, you need to have a rum cake at your launch.
but I'd have to get it from La Fiorentina.
Okay, well, where is your launch?
It's in the city,
New York?
New York City. Yeah.
Well,
And
maybe we can figure out a solution.
TNT Knitwear, which is like a pretty new bookstore on the Lower East Side. But I am going to go to Springfield. I am going to go to Springfield later on in October or November. So I'll go. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to get, now La Fiorentina moved. It's in East Longmeadow, and I'm going to have to go and get a rum cake.
I will send a note to your publicist after this. You should know about this.
It's so
Lynda,
good.
I think we should go get cake now.
We should. That would be great. We could meet in Boston. I would totally meet you in Boston, and we could go to the North End and just get cakes and cannolis and the sfogliatelle. How do you pronounce it?
Sfogliatelle.
Yes, that's what I love. I love that. We got to get that. All those things. Let's
Awesome.
do that. That would
Okay.
be so good. We're going to do that.
Okay. I can be there if I leave right now in about 2 hours.
I can't do it today. We're going to have to plan ahead. And you can bring your little boy because that'd be awesome. Also, I'm so excited. So I always say about my first book that like I could not have written, even though I thought like I literally thought about that book for 16 years. Like, so don't say that I write fast because I don't. I thought about that book and whatever for 16 years, but I couldn't have written it until I was a mother. And I think like you have written such amazing books, and I'm excited to see how your writing is going to evolve because motherhood opens up a lot of emotions and it just experiences. And I feel like, I mean, life does, not just motherhood, like all of life does, right? So like I just feel like maybe that's why you and I are both obsessed with older women and older women characters, because like it's just like aging is such a privilege, and it's such for writing, like I don't know, it's so life is, you have to just be out there living your life to write like all these great things that you, I don't know, don't you love eavesdropping? Can we talk about
Yes.
eavesdropping?
Yes.
Eavesdropping so much, like I just love, that's why I love being in Martha's Vineyard, because we're right near Edgartown and I walk my dog to the town all the time and everybody talks to my dog and like people are getting coffee all the time and I just like listen to everyone's conversations. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. It's just great.
I love talking to strangers.
Me too.
Or like letting strangers talk to me. It is definitely.
Well, when you go to Italy, that must happen a lot, right? If you're going to these small towns and things.
Yeah, totally. It does. It does. And you know, when you're formally trying to interview people, you need to, especially if it's a touchy subject like the mafia or life inside the carabinieri, the police force, or you know, whatever, you need introductions and you need sort of credentials, and you need someone to believe in you. They're standoffish at first and then you win their trust and they introduce you to all, suddenly you're like, oh, no one's available. It's impossible to talk to, you know, a carabinieri.
Right.
And then one person takes you to lunch and says, no, there are no carabinieri in this town. And then at the end of lunch, they're like, well, I have one friend who's a carabinieri. And then they're like, are you around tomorrow? Because here are my 12 carabinieri friends that want to talk to you. You're like, you gotta persevere, you know? It's my favorite. I love that. I love interviewing people.
That's so funny. That's great. I'm terrible at interviewing people. I try. I need to be trained. I'm gonna have to. And when we eat cake together, you're gonna give me some tips because
yeah.
I don't know. I never get anything good.
Oh well, my secrets are proprietary. I'll tell you over cake, but I can't put them on the podcast.
I understand.
But I will say one thing on the podcast. My absolute favorite trick to draw people out is to ask them to teach me how to cook something. Because first of all, you'll get to eat, and second of all, it will be something that they know how to make really well. So you put them instantly in their element,
right?
And then they'll speak with more sort of authority and confidence, and then it puts them in the position of power instantly, and then they'll start to, you know, feel bad for you, especially if you're as poor a cook as I am. And then they start to dish. That's I'll give that secret.
Okay, that's a really good tip. I just feel like every time I interview someone, they end up asking. They all want to write a book, and they just want my advice about how. They just start asking me questions. They always start asking. They always start trying to interview me. That's what always happens.
Yeah, I guess deflecting, turning the topic away from you is we're not trained to do that. We're trained to talk about ourselves or to like offer bits of information about ourselves to create an aura of trust between ourselves and our interlocutor.
Yeah.
And the trick that you have to develop is to be able to give that tiny bit so quickly and turn it back around so that the other person feels like the spotlight is on them. It's one of my favorite things.
I love it. And then come and eat cake with you, and you're going to show me all your ways.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen.
Awesome. Well, Lynda, this has been so excellent talking to you. I love spending this Friday morning doing this, and
it's been so great. It's been I love everything about you. And you're right.
The feeling is mutual.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful to the podcast. I'm grateful to everybody for letting us do this. Like, it was such a fun thing to get to do this and just chat about all of our things and learn about our mutual love of rum cake. And it's excellent.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Please visit alwaysauthors.com to learn about our other episodes. Always Authors is an exclusive production of Atomic Focus Entertainment.